pupils, parents, and guardians. Let me start by thanking you for being a part of all our remote learning platforms, particularly our television program, The Classroom in Your Home. Each feedback has been awesome. Good job, you. Our teachers have been working assiduously to bridge the learning loss during this critical period. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the Classroom in Your Home has been extended to accommodate the lower primary classes and a dedicated lesson to cater for our special needs pupils in line with our mandate of providing an all-inclusive and quality basic education in our dear state. This program is fully sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and supported by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board under the COVID-19 Blended Learning Intervention Initiative. Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At LASUBEB, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.
Hello, pupils. You're welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program on television, The Classroom in Your Home. A program sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and packaged by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. It is to ensure that you are academically engaged, whether you are in school or not. I am Auntie Fumi, your English Studies teacher. And you know how we always come with your wonderful teachers. They are here in the house. The math magician, Uncle Agbaje.
Hello, children.
That's your math teacher. And your popular teacher, Uncle Popo.
Hello, pupils.
He will be taking you through all the subjects on the general studies. We also have our beautiful sign language interpreter here today, Auntie Rosemary. Together, we are bringing the classroom into your home. Stay tuned, please. This lesson today, we'll continue with adjectives, but today we will look at verbs as adjectives. Yes, verbs as adjectives. Before we go into that lesson, let's have the correction to our previous homework. You were asked to pick out the adjectives in each of the given sentences. Brilliant children. Did you get everything correctly? I trust you. You need to be celebrated with a cheer. Now let's go to the learning objective for today. Don't forget, we said we're going to be looking at verbs as adjectives. We said we are going to be looking at verbs as adjectives. The learning objective is that by the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify verbs used as adjectives in sentences. You should be able to identify verbs used as adjectives in sentences. And you should also do the comparison of adjectives correctly. I'm sure we are going to enjoy our lesson today. Let's move on. Verbs as adjectives. Verbs as adjectives. Some adjectives end with ing, and they look like verbs in continuous tense form. Some adjectives end with what? ing, and they look like verbs in continuous tense form. Others end in ed or en, like verbs in the past participle form. Using verbs as adjective is known as deverbalization. That looks like a very big grammar. You can pronounce it. I trust you. When you use verbs as adjectives in sentences, it is called deverbalization. Pronounce it. Deverbalization. Well done. Brilliant children. Look at the examples. Example A. The bird is singing. The bird is singing. What is the verb here? You say singing. Yes, brilliant. But then, don't forget, we are deverbalizing. So, we're going to use verbs as adjectives. So, look at the sentence. The bird is singing. Another one. The singing bird flew away. The singing bird flew away. In number one, singing is a verb showing what the bird is doing. In the first sentence, singing is a verb showing what the bird is doing. But in number two, singing is describing the bird. So it becomes what? An adjective. Can you see now that you can do it? You are deverbalizing already. Now let's move to the second step. We want to compare adjectives. We want to do what? We want to do comparison of adjectives. Are you ready? Relax and let's do it. In comparing creatures and things, 3 degrees are used. When you want to compare creatures and things, we use how many degrees? 3 degrees. The 3 degrees are the positive, the comparative, and the superlative. Let's mention the 3 degrees together. 1, 2, go. Positive, comparative, and superlative. Well done. Good job, you. Now, let's talk about the positive. The positive degree describes only one person, idea, or thing. The positive degree describes what? Only one person, idea, or thing. Example, the short girl, a tall boy. We're describing just one person, a short girl, a tall boy. That is the positive degree. Now, comparative. When we're now talking about the comparative, that is the second degree. The comparative degree is used when 2 people, 2 ideas, or when 2 people, ideas, or things, or 2 groups are compared or considered in order to show how they are similar to or different from each other. Let me take that again. The comparative degree is used when 2 people, ideas, or things, or 2 groups are compared or considered in order to show how they are similar to or different from each other. Usually, adjectives with 1 syllable, we call them monosyllabic. Adjective with 1 syllable take R or ER in the comparative form. For example, we talked about short. When it gets to the comparative degree, it becomes shorter or larger. Are you following me? Yes, because we are now comparing. We are at the comparative stage now. Look at this example. Tom is tall, but Buki is taller. Tom is tall, but Buki is what? Taller. We are now comparing Buki to Tommy. Tommy is tall, but Buki is taller. Olu is kind, but Jide is kinder. Olu is kind, but Jide is kinder. At this level, we've been able to achieve the positive degree and the comparative degree. We've been able to compare 2 people together. Also, the word than is used in sentences involving comparative degree. When you are comparing at the comparative degree level, you use the word than because it's about 2 things or 2 groups or 2 ideas. We are comparing just 2 people or 2 things or 2 ideas or 2 groups. Look at this example. Shade is taller than Yomi. Shade is taller than Yomi. Rose is kinder than Wale. Rose is kinder than Wale. Just two people. I believe you're following me. When the adjective in the positive degree ends in E, R is added to get the comparative degree. Look at this one, large, L-A-R-G-E. When you want to put it at the comparative, when you want to change it to the comparative form, it becomes larger, L-A-R-G-E-R. Fine, finer, F-I-N-E-R. I believe you're getting me. Well done, children. When the word ends in Y, the Y is removed and replaced with I-E-R. When the adjective ends in Y, you remove the Y and you replace it with what? I-E-R. Look at these words. Heavy, H-E-A-V-Y, becomes heavier. The Y is removed and it is replaced with I-E-R. It becomes heavier, H-E-A-V-I-E-R. Another one is lazy. Who is lazy among you? Nobody. Okay, good. That's good. Lazy. It becomes lazier. The Y is removed and it is replaced with I-E-R. Did you get that? Well done. However, it is not all words that take R or ER in comparative. Words with two syllables or more than two syllables take more in the comparative form. For example, beautiful. It becomes, you cannot say beautifuler. It becomes more beautiful. More beautiful. Intelligent becomes more intelligent. Let's look at the third degree now. That is the superlative form. The superlative form. This involves comparing more than two people, ideas, or things. When you're comparing more than two people, ideas, or things, this is the superlative form. Adjectives with one syllable take ST or EST in the superlative. For example, short. We already had shorter in the comparative form. At the superlative stage, it becomes shortest. You add EST. Tall becomes tallest. You add EST. While those with more than one syllable take most. For example, we had more beautiful. Then at the superlative form stage, we have most beautiful, most intelligent. Did you get that? I trust you. Well done, children. Look at this example. Coffee is short. Coffee is short. That is at the positive stage. Kemi is shorter than Fumi. Kemi is shorter than Fumi. That is, we are comparing two people at the comparative stage. But Rose is the shortest. Rose is the shortest. That is the superlative stage. Kofi is short, positive. Kemi is shorter than Kofi or than Fumi. That is comparative. But Rose is the shortest. That is the superlative stage. Are you enjoying the lesson? I am too. Look at this example too. Mary is beautiful. That is the positive stage. Jane is more beautiful than Mary. But Comfort is the most beautiful of the three. Yes. That we have been able to establish the positive, the comparative, and the superlative degree. When as is used to compare things, the positive degree follows. When as is used to compare things, as, beautiful as. When as is used to compare things, the positive degree follows. For example, John is as tall as Alex. He is not as fast as his younger brother. It is activity time now. Did you enjoy the lesson? I want to see how well you've listened. let's have this questions now. It is activity time. Choose the correct forms of the adjectives in brackets. You have to choose the correct forms of the adjectives in brackets. 1. Yemi is the dash girl in the class. Is it taller or tallest? 2. My biro is as dash as yours. Good or better? Number 3. Olumba is the dash man in the village. Is it strongest or stronger? Number 4. Rita is dash than Jane. Is it short or shorter? Number 5. Who is dash Shegun or Boma? Cleverer or cleverest? You have 30 seconds to write just the answer, and your time starts now. Eyes on me. You finished writing the 5 answers. I trust you. I have brilliant children. Now the answer. Oh, you said, wow, you got the 5 correctly? How many of you got the 5 correctly? I trust you. You are brilliant children. I must celebrate you with a cheer. Well done. Now to what Auntie Fumi loves most, homework. I like children that do their homework. And it is the only thing that will guarantee you packs of Good Life Magic Juice. I know you love having juice or taking juice. So, this is your homework. Copy in the next 30 seconds. We have come to the end of the English Studies lesson for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I did too. Let me hand you over to the mathematician, Uncle Agbaje, for the mathematics lesson. Don't forget, Auntie Fumi is always proud of you.
Hello, children. You are welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time, and that means it is time to have some fun. I am Uncle Agbaje. Today in mathematics, we will continue our work on ratio. But ratios are just numbers, and we do a lot of calculation with it. Today, we are going to look at how we can apply ratio in solving real-life problems. I mean, how you can use ratio at home and brag with your parents and your brothers and your sisters that I know ratio, so I can solve this problem for you. But before that, let's look at the correction to the previous homework. You were asked to find the ratio of 1.5 hours to 50 minutes. And this second question. In a class of 40 pupils, 25 are girls. Find the ratio of boys to girls in the class. What fraction of the girls are the boys? Things that you were taught in the last lesson. Now, this one says, in a class of 40 pupils, 25 are girls. You have to find the ratio of boys to girls in the class. So we bring down right girls and boys. If there are 25 girls in the class, obviously if you're not a girl, you will be a boy. And we have been told that there are 40 pupils in class. And so if you remove 25 girls from 40, you will be left with 15. And that means that there are 15 boys in the class. Girls usually are more than boys in the class. All right? And then we reduce this to the lowest fraction. 5 divides 25 and I get 5. 5 divides 15 and I get 3. And that is the lowest fraction. But what is the first question saying? The first question is saying we should find the ratio of boys to girls. Not girls to boys, boys to girls. And that is boys here to girls. So the ratio is actually 3 to 5 and not 5 to 3. But you are smart and I'm sure that you got it right. The ratio for boys to girls is 3 for boys, 5 for girls. That's 3 to 5. And likewise, what fraction of the girls are the boys? And in this kind of question, when you say a question like this, it's saying, what fraction are the boys of the girls? So it's actually what fraction are the boys. So the fraction we are interested in is the fraction for the boys, but in relation to the girls. So what fraction are the boys of the girls? So you say the boys are 3, but in relation to the girl, that is 3. The girls, rather, in relation to the girls, that is 3 out of a possible 5. And that is 3/5 of the girls. But I'm sure you got that right. And that's why I'm going to celebrate you with a chair. Because you deserve it, you're smart. So let us look at our learning objectives. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to find missing quantities given ratios. That is, if you have the ratio already, how can you find some required quantities? What does that mean? We'll see. You should also be able to express ratios as fractions. We have introduced this in the last lesson. We'll just continue that today. So let's just go right into it. Application of ratio. Ratio can be used in solving many real-life problems, like I have said at the beginning of the lesson. Many real-life problems that involve measurements and sharing things. Okay, so let's consider this problem. Now, Umar and Z are to share some sweets, such that Umar is to take 3. Whenever Umar takes 3, Z will receive 5 sweets. Umar takes 3. Every time Umar takes 3, Z will receive 5 sweets. If Umar ends up receiving a total of 18 sweets, how many sweets does Z get? B. Well, to give 3 to Umar, 5 to Z, then if at the end of the day Umar gets 18 sweets, how many will Z get? Well, let's see how this problem is solved. That's Umar and that's Z. Okay, so what we do is that we write out their name and what we know. We know that when Umar gets 3, Z will get 5. And that is the ratio. That is the comparison of what they get. But that does not mean that that is what they will eventually get at the end of the day. This is just showing us how the quantities relate to each other. Umar gets 3/5 of whatever Z gets. Z gets 5/3 of whatever Umar gets. Okay? So what we're going to do now is that we're going to increase Umar's sweets until it gets to 18. That is making the Umar's sweets to become 18. So that's like that. Now see, he gets 3, then he gets another 3, and he gets another 3, and gets another 3, and gets another 3, and now we have 18. And that is 3 in how many places? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is 3 in 6 places. So we're multiplying 3 by 6 to get that 18. But remember that the question says every time that Umar gets 3 sweets, Z must get 5 sweets. So if we have given Umar 3 sweets 6 times, then we have to give Z 5 sweets as well 6 times. And so 5 times 6 gives you 30. So if you see this, see Z gets 5, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That's 5 in 6 places. So eventually we have gotten the amount of sweets that Z is going to get. You're not going to just say, Z, we've given Umar 18, so you know what, since your own is supposed to be more, why don't you take 20? You know, it doesn't conform with the sharing formula. This is the sharing formula. You know, even in Nigeria, we have sharing formulas that governments use to give allocations to states. There is a specific ratio that every state must get. So whenever they're going to share some money, look at the ratio for Lagos, for instance, ratio for Kano, ratio for the number that corresponds to the ratio for all the other states, and shares these resources out. You yourself, my friend, may be a minister someday or president, and you will need to share some of these formulas. This is how it begins, so you need to get it right. So Z gets 30 sweets, and when we give Z 30 sweets, according to the sharing formula, which is the ratio we have been just. All right. Let's consider this problem. When making biscuits, a baker mixes flour and sugar in the ratio of 4 to 1. I mean, you know all these biscuits that you buy, you know, crackers, Coaster, they have a unique taste. And in making those biscuits, the people who make them, they mix all the ingredients in specific ratios. You know, they don't just pour flour, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar. If they do that all the time, the tastes will never be the same. So there is a fixed ratio. So if they want to make they want to increase the quantity of biscuits they want to make, they have to have a specific ratio which they just keep increasing. So if they have to make 5, they increase the amount of sugar 5 times, the specific amount of flour to 5 times. So in the case of this baker, he mixes his own flour and sugar in the ratio 4:1. That is, flour takes 4 parts and sugar takes 1 part. It doesn't just mix them anyhow. Okay. Now, if he ends up using 8 kilograms of sugar when making some biscuits, how many flour should he use? Okay, you put yourself in the shoe of the baker. You want to make those biscuits. You want them to have the same tastes. And this is the formula that the master baker has given to you. Flour, 4 parts, sugar, 1 part. And then it gives you 8 kilograms of sugar. So how many kilograms of flour are you supposed to use? So let's check out how that is done. So what we do is that we write out the sharing formula for flour and sugar, which is the ratio. Flour takes 4 parts, sugar takes 1 part. Then we ask ourselves, how many kilograms of sugar are we allowed to use? We have been asked to use 8 kilograms of sugar. But how did we get from 1 to 8? We simply multiplied 1 by 8. Okay, so one part of sugar has been increased 8 times. Then every time you add 1 part of sugar, you have to add 4 parts of flour. So you have added 1 part of sugar 8 times. You have to add 4 parts of flour 8 times. That is 4 times 8. That should get you 32 kilograms of flour, my friend. So that means that for you to retain the same taste of that delicious biscuit, 8 parts of sugar will go with 32 parts of flour. Okay, and the taste will be the same. Anything other than that, it's going to taste differently. Okay, you can see that this work is very easy. I mean, using ratios. It's not the way you want to share revenue or resources to states. You can even use it in the bakery. Okay, so you're ready for one of your own. The baker uses 32 kilograms of flour. You're ready for one of your own. So take this problem. The ratio of the number of goats to the number of sheep in a garden is 3:1. Goats 3, sheep 1. The goats are 10. How many sheep? Not sheeps. How many sheep are there? 1 minute. Begin. Alrighty then, that was easy enough, but let's check it out. For those of us who may still be having problems. Okay, so there you have all the goats and all the sheep. So we are told that the sheep to the goats are 3:1. That is the ratio that combines them. So if we have 10 sheep, or rather 10 goats, as you can see, we have 10 goats. For every 1 goat, there is 3 sheep. Another goat, 3 sheep. Another goat, 3 sheep. So if you are having 10 goats, that is, you are increasing goats by 10, because 1 times 10 will give you 10. Then you have to increase the sheep 10 times as well. 3 times 10 will give you 30. So there are 30 sheep altogether. So if you count with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's your 10 goats. But for every goat, there are 3 sheep. So let's say 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. All right, that's clear enough. So here is another problem for you to tackle. I'll be back in another 1 minute. Begin. Are you done? Because I'm done. Let's check this out. The question says, in a school gathering, the ratio of boys to girls was 4-5. There were 48 boys. How many girls were there? And so we have the ratio combining boys and girls, and then we're told that there are 48 boys. So for every 4 boys, there are 5 girls. Okay, so now 4 boys till you get to 48. That's how many times? That's 4 times 12. So for every 4 boys, there will be 5 girls. So if 4 boys are in 12 places, there will be 5 girls in 12 places. 5 times 12 will be 60. Did you get that correctly? Of course you did, because you're a smart kid. There were 60 girls there in the school gathering. Okay. Now this other question says, how many pupils were there all together? I won't even leave the screen for this. You can do this in 5 seconds. How many pupils were there all together? 48 boys, 60 girls. The total is 108 pupils all together. That was easy enough. No ratio involved in this case. All you have to do is just add boys and girls, and that constitutes the number of people, because in a school gathering you're either a boy or a girl. So what is the ratio of the girls to the total number of people? What is the ratio of the girls to the total number of people? Think critically. How many people are there? How many are the girls? Should I give you some time to do this? Okay, maybe 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The ratio for girls to the total will be 5-9. And why is that? Because for every 4 boys, there will be 5 girls. And that means that if there are 4 boys and 5 girls, there will be 9 people altogether. Okay? So if there are 9 people altogether, there will be 5 girls, total will be 9. And that is, girls to the total will be 5-9. We will do more work on this relating to the total in our next lesson. Okay? Finally, what fraction of the girls are the boys? Remember I said that this question is to be interpreted as what fraction are the boys, because we are really interested in the fraction of the boys, but in relation to the girls. So what fraction of the girls are the boys? This shouldn't take you time because it's right there on the screen. Did you get it right? The correct fraction is 4/5, because there are 4 boys and there are 5 girls. So the boys in relation to the girl, the ratio will be 4-5, but the fraction will be 4/5 or 4/5. All right. Now for your homework, you get time to practice some of these things on your own. You can also take the online assessment where you find a lot of challenging questions to test what you have learned today. You are to copy this, but do not go away because today is Magic Tuesday and Okangbaje will be right back. Hello children, you're welcome to this segment of the program. It is Magic Tuesday where I show you little tips and tricks to help you work faster and smarter in mathematics. Our trick for today is a very simple one. We will learn how to change fraction to decimals without needing to divide. Fractions that have a denominator of 9. You must have realized by now that changing fractions to decimal can be quite an involved process. I mean, you have to divide, you have to carry, you have to circle. Sometimes it can be involved. But you would have also come across this class of decimals that we call recurring decimal, the one that does not end, it continues like a 0.333333. That's exactly what 9 is. All fractions that have a denominator of 9 are recurring decimals, and they can be pretty difficult to handle when you start working with them. But I show you a very little trick that will make sure you don't even bother dividing. That is because 9 itself is a magic number, okay? And it's going to give us a recurring decimal every time you have a denominator of 9. But what number will recur? The number that will recur is the numerator. For instance, 1/9, the numerator is 9. And every time you try to do 1/9, you're going to get 0.111111, and you continue like that. But you can stop after the 3rd digit for your level, and it ends there. 2/9, of course, is going to give you 0.222222, and it continues like that. The numerator being 2. The same thing with 3/9. But 3/9 is also 1/3. And that is why the other time you got your 1/3 to be 0.33333. That is 3/9. The lowest form is 1 over 3. 4 over 9, of course, will give you 0.444 till infinity. 5 over 9 is 0.55555. 0.6 is the same thing as 2 all over 3. And that's why if you try to change 2 over 3 to a decimal, you get 0.666. It doesn't end. But for now, you can stop after the third digit. Later, we'll discuss estimation and approximation. I will tell you how to tidy up these numbers very, very neatly. 7 over 9, of course, is 0.777. 8 over 9 is 0.8888. And did I hear you say 9 over 9 is 0.999? No. 9 divided by 9 is always going to give us 1. That's it for today. I will now hand you over to Uncle Popo for the general studies lesson, which, as always, promises to be interesting. I think he has a song for you. Till I come your way in the next lesson, remain wonderful mathematicians.
Hello pupils, you are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. Uncle Popo is here.
I am also here.
We are here together.
100% attention.
Good. 100% attention is what I need from you. Our subject for today is social studies. Social studies is a subject. And in today's lesson, we want to look at another interesting topic. But before that, in our last lesson, we talked about premarital sexual relationship and extramarital sexual relationship. Now we want to look at another topic, and that is sexually transmitted diseases, STD. That's the topic for today. Sexually, say that, transmitted diseases, that's STD. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to define and list the common STDs. 2, mention risky sexual behaviors that promote STDs and AIDS. And you should be able to say the symptoms and signs of HIV, AIDS, and how STDs can be contracted. STD means sexually transmitted diseases. Sexually transmitted diseases refer to those diseases that can be contracted through sexual intercourse. They are those diseases that can be contracted through sexual intercourse, maybe through premarital sexual relationship or extramarital sexual relationship. Now, let's look at, there are many types of such diseases or infections. In almost all cases, an infected pregnant woman can pass them to the baby during delivery. Thus, we are referring to some of those sexually transmitted diseases. At times, it could be transferred from pregnant woman down to baby during delivery. We'll look at the details of what we are talking about in this lesson. The following are some of STDs, are common STDs. The first one I want to talk about is gonorrhea. This is a curable infection. What does that mean? That means it can be cured. However, if gonorrhea is left untreated, it can cause problems like infertility. What does that mean? That means inability to bear a child, and it can also cause death. So that's STD, and we are talking about gonorrhea. Let's look at another one. The second example of STD is that I want to talk about now is syphilis. Say that. Syphilis is also another example of sexually transmitted disease. This is a curable bacterial infection. That means syphilis too can be cured. But if not treated, can after 30 years of the start of the infection show symptoms of various and increasing seriousness. When it gets to this advanced stage, it can affect the brain, causing mental illness and paralysis. It can also cause other damages in the body. What we are saying here is that it's a curable disease, but if not treated, it can cause mental illness and paralysis, and it can also lead to death. Next one is hepatitis. Say that. Hepatitis is another example of sexually transmitted disease. It's a viral infection that causes inflammation. What does that mean? That means a swelling of the liver. It has got no cure. It has got what? No cure. That means it is incurable. It cannot be cured. And it can kill. But it can be prevented by immunization. It can be prevented by what? Immunization. That means you'll have been given some vaccines to prevent it from being infected. Another example of sexually transmitted disease that we want to talk about today is, next one is herpes. Say that. Herpes. That's spelled H-E-R-P-E-S. Herpes is a viral disease that infects the skin. It infects what? The skin. It causes rashes on the skin, especially at the lips and private parts. In its early stage, the skin itches. But unlike most other sexually transmitted disease, which spread through exchange of body fluid, herpes spread through skin-to-skin contact, through skin-to-skin contact through sexual intercourse. Skin-to-skin contact through sexual intercourse. One can be infected that way. That is herpes. And let's look at the last example we want to look at. Another sexually transmitted disease we want to talk about is HIV/AIDS. Say that. HIV/AIDS. HIV/AIDS is an incurable sexually transmitted disease. That means it has no cure. It cannot be cured. So it's an incurable sexually transmitted disease which destroys the body's resistance or ability to fight infections. Let's look at what the difference between HIV and AIDS. Let's look at that now. What is the full meaning of HIV? HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. Repeat after me. Human Immunodeficiency Virus. That is HIV. While AIDS stands for Acquired, say that, Immune Deficiency Syndrome. Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. That's the full meaning of AIDS. Now let's talk about the virus now. A virus is a very small organism that cannot be seen with the ordinary eye, cannot be seen with your eye. HIV is the virus that can cause the AIDS disease. A person infected with HIV may have AIDS after about 10 years. One will be infected with HIV first, but after 10 years, it may lead to AIDS. If not well handled, it may lead to AIDS if not well handled. Therefore, AIDS is the advanced stage of the HIV infection. AIDS is what? Is the advanced stage of the HIV infection. HIV can be managed by the regular treatment, but AIDS cannot be treated. When one is infected with HIV, can be managed, can be controlled, but once it leads to AIDS, it cannot be treated, and the ultimate end is always death. What are the means of contracting HIV/AIDS? Means of contracting HIV/AIDS. That means what are the ways through which one can contract HIV/AIDS? One, sexual intercourse. You've been told in one of our lessons that premarital sexual relationship, extramarital sexual relationship is not good at all. So we desist from it. So sexual intercourse is a means of contracting HIV/AIDS. Another one is sharing sharp, unserialized objects. Unserialized objects like your razor, syringe, needles. When you are sharing all those sharp objects, one can contract HIV/AIDS. That's why you don't need to share any sharp object. The blade, razor, syringe, you don't share it with your friends. So sharing sharp, unserialized objects, through that one can contract HIV/AIDS. Next one is breast milk. That is mother to child transmission. if the mother is infected while feeding the child, through that, the child could be infected also. That is breast milk through mother to child transmission. Those are the picture here tells the pictures here tell us more about what I'm talking. This is the sharp object sharing unsterilized one. One can contract HIV/AIDS through that, and through the breast milk of the mother to the child. Now let's look at the effect of STDs and HIV/AIDS. What are the effects of this of sexually transmitted disease and HIV/AIDS? One, STDs and HIV/AIDS are dangerous diseases. They can have the following effects on the infected person and the society at large. One, stigmatization from the society. Anyone infected with HIV/AIDS could be stigmatized. What does that mean? That is, such a person in the society, people may not want to do with the person, running away from such person that is an HIV/AIDS patient, is suffering from certain diseases, and they may not want to relate with such person. So they have stigmatized such person in the society. Next is death. In some extreme cases could occur. STDs, we told you we have some diseases that are incurable. So at the end, those diseases could lead to death. Isolation from members of the family members too can do away with such person, that we don't need to go to his house again. We don't want to have anything to do with him or her again. That's another effect. Loss of self-esteem. The person living in the society, the house, the company is working, the person may lose his or her self-esteem because of the disease, especially HIV/AIDS. That's loss of self-esteem. Ways of preventing contact with STDs and HIV/AIDS. Ways of preventing contact with STDs and HIV/AIDS. STDs and HIV/AIDS can be avoided by ensuring that we are not exposed to risky sexual behaviors. Then how can we achieve this? One is maintaining one sex partner. This is not also referring to you young boys and girls. It's referring to our adults, to the married couple. Maintaining one sex partner. That's one way. Another one is not patronizing commercial sex workers. That means you don't involve in extramarital sexual relationship or premarital sexual relationship. Next is avoiding exposure to pornographic material. And lastly, abstaining from unprotected sex. That one is not for you too. It's also for the married adult. Now, we have come to the end of today's lesson. But before we go, you need to be tested and see how you have given me your 100% attention in today's lesson. Now, onto the evaluation. What are STDs? Number 2, list 4 common STDs. You give me examples of STDs we have discussed today. Your time starts now. Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is here. I believe you are still there. Now let's check the answers to the questions. What are STDs? STDs refer to those diseases that can be contracted through sexual intercourse. They are diseases that can be contracted through sexual intercourse. Common examples: gonorrhea, syphilis, herpes, hepatitis, HIV/AIDS. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Until next time, next lesson, Uncle Popo says, say no to sex before marriage. Bye.
My wonderful pupils, We've come to the end of another wonderful edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home.
We hope that you have had fun, and we hope that it has been exciting for you, because we have enjoyed ourselves teaching you. Now, the link for today's online assessment is bit.ly/LASUBEB lesson 56. The link again is bit.ly/LASUBEB lesson 56. Remember, that's our way of knowing how well you're performing so that we can help you to improve on your performance. Remember as well that you can be a part of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. All you have to do is to send a 1-minute video of yourself doing any of the activities that we have given you, or any activity that is relating to the program. Now, I was thinking that we should give them the challenge of mimicking Uncle Coco for this week. I so much enjoyed the one that I saw for you and for me. So the challenge for this week is that you make a 1-minute video of yourself mimicking Uncle Coco, introducing the lesson just as Uncle Coco does it. 1-minute video, we'll select and we'll say if you're worthy of being on the program, and we will showcase you.
I'm sure that's going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, very
I'm
interesting.
looking forward to that.
I'm expecting it too.
So, taking the online assessment is based on if you have access to your daddies, your mommies, your uncles, or your aunties' Android or smartphones. If not, there is no problem. Just send your questions, your comments, and your homework to 081 50 86 5663. Please do not call that line. Just send SMS or WhatsApp messages only. And when you're submitting your homework, make sure you indicate your name. What again?
LGA, school.
And
Class.
Those are the things that will be needed to identify you and appraise you accordingly. Uncle Popo.
Today's lessons and previous lessons are on LASUBEB YouTube channel for you to watch in case you miss any of the classes or you want to watch over and over again. Subscribe to LASUBEB YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. The Classroom in Your Home could be watched live on Facebook, the same time airing on television through the page showing on the screen.
Till our next lesson, when we shall meet again on another wonderful edition of The Classroom in Your Home, please do your homework.
Wash your hands regularly.
Schools have not been asked to resume yet, so stay at home and
Stay safe. LASUBEB, leave no child behind.
Dear pupils, parents, and guardians, let me start by thanking you for being a part of all our remote learning platforms, particularly our television program, The Classroom in Your Home. Each feedback has been awesome. Good job, you. Our teachers have been working assiduously to break the learning laws during this critical period. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that The Classroom in Your Home has been extended to accommodate the lower primary classes and a dedicated lesson to cater for our special needs pupils in line with our mandate of providing an all-inclusive and quality basic education in our dear state. This program is fully sponsored by the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, and supported by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board under the COVID-19 Blended Learning Intervention Initiative. Please encourage your wards to tune in and take every advantage of this laudable program. Also remember, this pandemic is not over. Let us continue to abide by all health and safety guidelines as stipulated by the government. At LASUBEB, we are determined to leave no child behind in our quest to improve the standard of basic education in our state. Thank you.